Yo, what's up? We're gonna jump right into it today. So I have my E0 Lynx here. We're gonna be testing out how well she can solo sustain a Blade team. This is a pretty basic comp. We don't have Bronya, but also we're kind of testing how well she can solo sustain in general and how she functions, how she plays out. We will test her with Bronya as well, but I'll explain in a second why she isn't ideal for those kinds of teams. This is Memory of Chaos 10, so it's the hardest content. And let's see if she can, well, I say it's the hardest content, but Swarm Disaster technically is. Let's see how well she does in this situation. The main appeal of using Lynx with Blade and Clara is she gives them extra taunt value, which is pretty hard to come by. We can't exactly measure that, but I think it's still good to show gameplay because you've seen all the guides. Now it's time to see how it goes in practice, how it actually plays out. And the first thing I notice is, of course, Destruction and Preservation characters, when they have enough HP, they get that increased taunt value. They get attacked so much more often. Like, it's actually consistent enough that Blade is getting his follow-up attack every 2 of his turns, which is a significant improvement. Also, you see that I use Lynx's ult here, and it's actually incorrect. I should have used it after the Void Rangers shot me, so I can cleanse their entanglement, but I wanted to show you this anyway, intentionally, so that you can see what happens and how Lynx can deal with the situation where we're pretty much screwed, right? Of course, if I played it better, we wouldn't be in this position, but it's still good to see how she does anyway. One thing that I noticed as well is Blade demands so much healing because he has such a large health pool and he drains so much of his HP as a percentage when he uses his attacks and his skill, right? The one issue with that is your healer must heal enough, otherwise not only are you not going to survive, but your ult doesn't get as much damage bonus. Of course, all of us are comparing Lynx to Natasha because she's kind of like the upgrade. If you look at the raw multipliers and the base stats, Natasha actually has more base HP and slightly higher multipliers, though they're within like 1 to 2% of each other, so it's very negligible. The main advantage with Lynx, of course, is she has the cleanse AoE and she has her skill, which increases your ally's HP by a % of her own and then a flat amount, which is around, I don't check it here, but it's around 530 to 590 depending on what her max HP is at the time. So for Blade, that's like having 20% extra HP in substats, which is actually pretty huge. Of course, this is all while being a healer, right? And that's an amazing advantage for her. The other thing is she has continuous healing, which lasts for 2 turns, but when you get the Ascension 6 passive, it actually lasts for 3. So you pretty much have 100% uptime on passive healing as well. By the way, my Lynx isn't that highly invested. I think she's at level 7 traces. But if you have her Eidolons and have leveled her up, you can get level 10, level 11. She'll heal a lot more. So what we're doing is we're stress testing her in a scenario where she needs to do a lot of healing and she's, you know, this is Memory of Chaos 10. And we get to see her cleansing in action, which is really nice. It's something that Natasha doesn't have. Well, she has single target cleansing, which is different. Bailu doesn't have any. I can tell you for sure that Bailu heals more, and with Invigoration she can prevent more damage incoming. So in terms of pure heals, even though we have the continuous healing from Lynx, unless you're like E1, because I think, well, E5, because E5 gives you skill, no, it gives you talent and ult bonus. Unless you have that, Bailu's healing way more. But Bailu's already well strong enough to solo sustain a team in Memory of Chaos 10, so if Lynx can even be comparable, then she can solo sustain. And again, this is Blade. He is the one that requires the most healing. A lot of people don't even play Blade unless they have Luocha, just because it's a lot of work to keep him healthy. So we don't look like we have any issues here, which is good. We did have that one run-in with the Void Rangers where I misclicked, or not misclicked, I misplayed the heal on Lynx, but other than that, we are not in too much danger. Of course, when we do have a big nuke coming in, we don't have any damage mitigation. I guess if you count increasing the HP of your allies, or at least just your main target damage mitigation, then sure. But we don't have a way like Invigoration or Fushuan to directly deflect some incoming damage. But as long as we can heal it back, then this shouldn't be a problem. let's see what happens when Yanqing descends his sword upon us. We get really low, but again, if we're not if we're not completely wiped, we should be able to recover at this stage. So far looking good. We should be able to close this one out, no problem. Blade as the main DPS. We don't really have that much defensive gear on our Asta or Pella, so they are taking more damage than they normally would. Like, I'd put them on HP orbs, defense orbs, but they've got like full damage gear on right now. But I think, so you're seeing 1276 initial ult heals. I think when you level it up to like level 10 and 11 and get better relics, it can go up to 1600 to even 2000 if you have Bailu's Light Cone. So a lot to look forward to. Anyway, here we are against Kafka on Memory of Chaos 9's second half. We're going to use Bronya, and I'm going to talk a bit about this. My only problem with Lynx is her skill that increases the character's HP, increases their taunt value, and with Eidolons can even increase the HP by more and also attack. The biggest problem with it is that it lasts 2 turns. Now, that's not actually an issue with Clara since she's moving so slow, but with Blade, especially if you're using Bronya, you're not actually getting any value out of it. And you're just using skill points for using skill points. Like, yes, Bronya will give him the extra action, and then whatever HP buff he had as well will apply. But after Blade takes 2 actions, the buff expires, and that's a huge problem. The other thing that Lynx's skill does is it increases the healing they receive from the continuous healing from her ult, and if it expires because you're taking too many turns, you're just losing out on so much value. So I wish it lasted 3 or even 4 turns. 2 just seems like nothing, because this is what could happen, right? Lynx applies her skill buff on Blade. Blade goes, and then after that, he's only at 1 turn left on the duration. So you can see here, wait, hang on. We're going to use this to cleanse. It's really good as an emergency cleanse too, even if the rest of your team's healthy. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, say Lynx goes first, then applies the skill buff on Blade. It lasts 2 turns. Blade goes. It lasts 1 turn. Bronya goes, gives Blade another turn. Blade uses his attack. Turn ends. The skill buff is gone. And then now it's time for the enemies to act. Do you see why that's a problem? They're not going to have the increased taunt value on Blade anymore. And I don't know. It just seems like, I don't know what they're thinking. It seems like something that should be 3 to 4 turns, but maybe that's a little too overpowered because it uses a skill point. In this game, if something uses a skill point, I feel like it needs to provide a good amount of value. Also, you can see just how much harder it is to survive a Kafka and a Sanctus Medicus guy. Even though this is Memory of Chaos 9, I think there's more incoming damage here. So it's a little harder. Plus, we are hemorrhaging more HP with Blade because we're taking more actions. Bronya's giving him more. So it's making the healing requirements even higher. But should still be no problem. I don't decide to heal my Bronya, and that ends up being a problem, and she falls. Honestly though, because my Lynx isn't that highly invested and at E0, I would say she can do a good job at soul sustaining. Natasha already kind of can, but Lynx does a much better job. We're just taking a quick look at what buffs. Yeah, 530 HP. So yeah, if you want to invest in Lynx more, like level 80, for example, higher level traces, then for sure, she can soul sustain. I would just recommend not using Bronya though. Well, you can make it work if you really want to speed tune them. I'm not saying that no matter what, Bronya is going to be Blade's best support right now. So it's going to work. It's just, it feels so anti-synergistic because as soon as you apply the buff, Blade attacks, he attacks again, buff's gone. Enemies don't have that increased taunt on him. But that's just a little rant that I had. I wish it lasted longer, and I still think she's a great character overall. Also, you're about to see my light cone here. We do have time waits for no one. I have it at S2 because I swear to God, every time I lose a 50 or 75-25, it's that light cone or it's on the standard banner. So I'm going to use it. Also, you can see I'm using HP body instead of outgoing healing. You get more of a buff on your skill target, but it's better to just go outgoing healing. You'll heal a lot more and it'll be a lot more comfy. And you'll see she's got no Eidolons active. But before this fight starts, I actually activated 4 of them. So she's got E4, just so that we can see how much attack buff she gives Clara. Now, this is how I think Lynx is meant to be played, or who Lynx is meant to be played with. She works so much better with Clara, in my opinion. Even though, you know, she can't benefit from the HP. Well, she gets more survivability, but Blade, even though he can get more damage from the HP buff, Clara gets so much more value from the taunt, and also, Clara doesn't move fast. Since she's taking so many more actions, it's actually a good thing. The buff from Lynx's skill lasts longer, so not only is she getting that HP, she's getting that attack from E4, though it's not gonna be a lot. You'll see that once I actually show the stats. The greater taunt value will last on Clara when enemies are attacking, so that's a huge bonus to running this comp. Also, Clara does a really good job at reducing damage, because whenever she takes less damage passively and a lot less once her ult is active. So it reduces Lynx's healing requirements. And that's why I love Clara a lot. Clara is such a good defensive, offensive character. And what I mean by that is she dishes out damage. Like, she does a really good job at that. But she makes it so your team takes less damage, you need less healing. Just really versatile. So this is who I think Lynx works really great with. Like, Blade, of course, still works good. But Clara is where it's really at. I haven't really tested too much yet. I've just been testing her with Blade and Clara, but I think those are the 2 current best characters to run her with. I don't know when I show the attack bonus from the E4, but it's not there. It's only 190 attack, I think, so it's very non-impactful, but it is something. Anyway, that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover about Lynx. I'll definitely be making a DPS Lynx video, probably sometime this week. And I will try to stream tomorrow and Sunday at reasonable time, so we can have multiple. I've had streams really late in my time zone, so hopefully those of you from EU or Asia are able to join this time. If you want to follow my stream though, it is twitch.tv/Hartamo. I'll probably put it in a pinned comment or the description. And if you're enjoying my videos, do consider dropping a like and subscribe. Helps me out a lot and I'd appreciate it. Oh, one last note about Lynx. The way I would recommend building her is with 2-piece Longevous and 2-piece Outgoing Healing bonus. It's the Passerby, Wandering Cloud, and the other one is the HP set. So you want an Outgoing Healing body, Speed Boots, HP Orb, and Energy Regen Rope. Oh yeah, for planar set, I would say Fleet of the Ageless in most cases, especially if you're running her with attack scalers. But if you're running her with Blade, you can opt for Broken Keel for that extra crit damage. But honestly, it shouldn't really matter, you just get more heals with Fleet. But that's pretty much it. Hope you found some of this info helpful. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you next time.